We're now going live to Venezuela, when an exercise is taking place as part of the Independence 200 plan. Let's see more images. We're looking at images from Venezuela, where the activation of the interior defense zones in several states of the country is taking place as part of the Independence 200 plan. This is command control and communications exercises and drills that are being carried out in the Independence 200 plan, which includes the Bolivarian National Armed Forces, the police and the people, to guarantee national sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Venezuelan nation. The deployment of the drills and exercises as part of the Independence 200 plan have been carried out in the face of increasing aggressions from the United States government, with several attacks on vessels in Caribbean and Pacific waters around the coast of Venezuela. The Independence 200 plan is a joint union between the Bolivarian National Armed Forces, the police and the people of Venezuela, whose goal is to guarantee the national sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country in the face of these aggressions from the United States. This operation is part of the doctrine of interior defense of the nation, which seeks a permanent national offensive to achieve and consolidate the peace. The forces involved in the Plan Independence 200 are in active and strategic areas of the country. The Independence 200 plan unfolds amid escalating tensions between Caracas and Washington, following especially the deployment of U.S. naval forces near the Venezuelan waters. Let us remember that the Independence 200 plan was launched by President Nicolás Maduro on September 11, 2025. And this exercise is structured around the concept of permanent, active and defensive resistance. The operation is part of the doctrine of interior defense of the nation, which seeks a permanent national defensive to achieve and consolidate peace.
Del 11 de noviembre de 2025 en la red Los Llanos. Nos encontramos dispuestos a efectuar.
We're looking at the images from soldiers from the Bolivarian National Armed Forces in several states, especially in the coast of Venezuela, important for their strategic geographical placement. We're seeing the drills and exercises of the command, control and communications exercises from the National Bolivarian Armed Forces as part of the Independence 200 plan that has been carried out in Venezuela by orders of President of Venezuela Nicolás Maduro since September 11, 2025. With the concept of permanent active resistance, the Plan Independence 200 aims at protecting the territorial integrity and guaranteeing the national sovereignty of Venezuela in the face of the increasing tensions between the governments of Venezuela and the governments of the United States. The Plan Independence 200 includes the deployment of personnel and material and the media from the Bolivarian National Armed Forces, as well as the people of Venezuela and police forces.
Y nosotros
las 00 horas 12 minutos del día 11 de noviembre del 2025, la Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana, a través del sistema defensivo territorial y en el territorio
The activation of the Integral Defense Zone in Falcon. This Integral Defense Zone has been activated at midnight on November 11th, concentrating combat media and combat personnel as part of the Independence 200 plan to guarantee national sovereignty and integral defense of the country. The units from the Bolivarian National Armed Forces of the Integral Defense Zone of Falcon have been activated, as we can see in these images, to guarantee integral defense in Venezuela, in a joint effort between the Bolivarian National Armed Forces, the police, and the Venezuelan people, in the face of the aggressions and the threats of aggression from the United States government. We're looking at the images still of the activation in the morning of November 11th of several integral defense zones around throughout the country of Venezuela as part of the Independence 200 plan. Let us remember that the Independence 200 exercise was launched by President Nicolás Maduro on September 11th. This exercise is structured around the concept of permanent, active, and defensive resistance. This operation is part of the doctrine of integral defense of the nation, which seeks a permanent national offensive to consolidate and achieve peace. The forces involved in the Plan Independence 200 are in active strategic areas throughout the country and are being activated and deployed in drills and exercises. The Independence 200 plan is a joint effort between the Bolivarian National Armed Forces, the people of Venezuela, and the police forces of the country of Venezuela. The concentration of forces and materials and personnel from all of these corpses, including military, police, civil personnel, the Independence 200 plan and the integral defense zones of the country are being activated throughout Venezuela.
Chávez vive, mi comandante, dándole cumplimiento a sus instrucciones. Hoy, 11 de noviembre del año 2025, siendo las 00 horas 01 minutos.
Today, November 11, 2025, at 00 and 10 hours, we are currently activating Independence 200 plan, active resistance. We are carrying out the deployment of the Integral Defense Zone number 13 in Lara.
De noviembre del 2025.
November 11, 2025. 15 hours from the Integral Defense on number 85, the Bolivarian National Armed Forces is starting the deployment of the integral defensive exercises in the framework of the Independence 200 exercise, continuing with the cohesion of the people and deploying the forces of the military in the face of the aggressions that are threatening the sovereignty of the nation, and the militia completing the operations. Following the instructions of the Commander-in-Chief in active resistance and permanent offensive in perfect joint union between military, civic and police forces, keeping the internal order, we will organize a territory for an integral defense, conditioning the command posts with a tight coordination with the intelligence and counterintelligence system to detect internal threats from the enemy, also executing the knowledge of the area, controlling critical points in the area that allows the access to the capital of the country. Likewise, ensuring the system of national integrity to control airspace, to control the defense exercises, conducting resistance operations and support operations when the situation needs it, increasing to neutralize enemies, from special forces to neutralize emergencies, and guaranteeing the communication media to allow the continuity of these operations. We are also establishing coordinations between the Bolivarian National Armed Forces and the authorities and institutions that are part of the public powers to commit to the procedures of control and guarantee the positioning of the militias for the several units of the Bolivarian National Armed Forces. And we will determine the location for the basic units of support, of logistical support. We'll update the mobility plans and keep updated the organs for the integral defense zones. We'll activate the work committees for the defense and communal defense throughout the territory.
Chávez vive, mi comandante en jefe, siendo las 0002 minutos del día.
On November 11th, 0002 minutes, we're starting the activation to the exercise Independence 200 against the aerial campaign and the systematic we're in the east, the operations in the east with the goal of reaching the optimum point of defense for the state, to defend and protect the institutional rights of the peoples, to allow the continuity of free evolving of citizens' activities in social, economical, cultural, geographical, political, environmental, and technological aspects, following the historic goals and the homeland's plans to reach the development of the national goals. In the active defense and permanent offensive, Venezuela is a territory of peace. South America is a territory of peace. Chavez lives independence and socialist homeland. We're looking at the images of the activation of several integral defense zones throughout the country. The missile system and the weapon system were taking care of it, all of it that takes care of the Bolivarian National Armed Forces, as well as the police and the integral defense zones throughout our geography. 4 a.m. at November 11th, Tuesday, in every geographical space in Venezuela, in the face of aggressions, there is no cowardice, there's actually bravery. This is a tactical healing to deconcentrate the forces with a great technical and military capacity for the geographical spaces, like the state of Táchira, which next to Suria and Amazonas has a broad border. Chavez is alive. 0002 minutes. We are in Fuerte Garabán. The integral defense zone number 64, specifically in Montero Sanes, we're complying with the exercise Independence 200. We're currently looking at the images of the Independence 200 plan exercise and the activation. Good morning, Commander-in-Chief. The activation of this Independence 200 zone at 0005 hours in November 11, 2025. We're starting the exercise Independence 200, an exercise of concentration of the media and national deployment for the positioning of the defense in the framework of the preparation of the Bolivarian National Armed Forces and the popular power for the integral defense of the nation. Right now, deployment is taking place of the logistical media, of the support media, to use them in case of aggression from the enemy. Likewise, the popular power is organizing in communal units, assuming the defense and the resistance positions in the face of possible aggression from an external. We will triumph. We were just looking at images from the Independence 200 exercises being activated in the several integral defense zones throughout the country of Venezuela. And now to finalize, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net and join us on social media. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Sophie Fernandez. Thank you for watching.